computers, in order to get such icons, generally when you install Visual Studio Code, Visual Studio Code comes with a lot of plugins, extensions. Those extensions help developers to maintain the code more perfect and more friendly. So icons, you can keep friendly icons. For that, what you have to do is, you have to go to extensions. Left side, you can see there is an extensions button. You click on that extensions button and you search for extension. So for icons, what you do is, for icons, you search for extension called VS Code Icons. VS Code Icons extension. You have to download this extension. For icons, you have to download that extension. Otherwise, folder symbols will be normal. It doesn't matter. Even the folder is normal, doesn't matter, but make it friendly. So developer friendly, then use these icons. So what you have to do is, so go to extensions. Here you have to search VS Code Icons. VS Code Icons. This is the extension. So you have to install this extension in your Visual Studio Code. There is an install button. You have to install. It's already installed. For my Visual Studio, it is already installed. This is installed successfully. Okay. Now you install another extension to test your project. You need another file, another extension, that is Live Server. Live Server is another extension. Live Server is required for hosting our project in a server and testing it. Don't test your projects without server. Without server also people test projects. What they do, they save the files in a folder, double click on the file, open in browser and watch. That is not the correct way of doing. Why? Because if it is working fine on server, then it will work fine on live when it goes live. If you designed for file system and later you are publishing live, then so many issues will come. That is the reason always test your application on live servers, local servers. First you have to install local servers. How to take it live, I will tell later. Live means cloud. We can host our applications on cloud. That you will see as the last option. After learning Angular, we will learn about how to deploy that Angular project into cloud so that it will be live, so that anybody can watch our application. We can learn that. But initially, so in order to define, you have to download a live server. That means, so install live server extension. Install live server extension. Two, you have to install VS Code Icons and Live Server. You see, I will search for another one, Live Server, and install that Live Server extension also. That is the Live Server extension. We are installing that Live Server also. Remember, left side you can see lot of live servers are there. Always go with better rating ones. Always go with the better rating ones, because some live servers may not work properly because these are contributed by third parties. If they are contributed by third party people, if they are not working, you can't complain. You have to just uninstall it and use something else which is better. So that is the reason. So we will go with this live server. Ritwik Day, that is the author. And it is already having a lot of downloads and good ratings. We will go with this live server. Okay, you install and configure this live server. So we are having that live server. Live server is also installed here. Already I installed that live server. It is also ready. So you have these two extensions, VS Code Icons and Live Server. Okay, now your project environment is ready. Generally, when you develop a web application, usually web application starts with a page. What is that page called? Every web application starts with a page. I hope you people know that. Huh? What is the startup page for every website? Every website starts with a page called index.html. So add that index.html. Index.html. So where to add this index.html in your public folder? That is where all static resources are present. So what we have to do, go to public folder and add a new file, that is index.html. And this is the HTML page. That is the HTML page. And you can add your HTML code. I'm adding basic HTML code here. I just put a head section. I will put a title. And I will keep it as index. And in the body section, so I will just put here as web application, just a heading I given here, right? Now this index page is ready. How to start this page? How we can test the page? Currently, there is no TypeScript, nothing, just index page is ready. Now right click in the page. Because you already installed live server, you will see an option open with live server. You will see an option open with live server. That means now you have to select open with live server. Then it will start the page on live server. It's working fine. That means your page is currently running on this location. This is the IP address and the port number. And this is the location where it is currently working. So your application is running on server. That is fine. This is a general web application. Now how TypeScript is used here? That is important part. How TypeScript is used here. How to use TypeScript in this web application. Let's see how we can use TypeScript in the web application. TypeScript we are going to learn detailedly. So language part, everything we will learn detailedly. First, I will give you a basic example how TypeScript works for websites. See, now what we have to do is we need to go to SRC folder. Go to this SRC folder, and in that add a new file in SRC folder, that is index.ts. TypeScript files must have the extension .ts. They must have the extension .ts. So you need to define the extension ts. This is the TypeScript file. All TypeScript files must have the extension .ts. Now in this TypeScript file, so TypeScript file, we have to add index.ts. This is in SRC folder. In this, we have to write TypeScript logic. As of now, we haven't learned any TypeScript. So, but basic I will show you here. If you are aware of JavaScript, these are very common things. TypeScript can use all the concepts of general JavaScript. So it can use all the concepts of JavaScript. See, in the heading, in this here, in the index page, we have a div. This div have an ID as container. So now in the container, I want TypeScript to display some message. In this container, I want TypeScript to display some message dynamically. So what we are doing now, go to index.ts. Here write your code. Actually, we have to write the TypeScript style logic here that we are going to learn detailedly. As of now, just observe. I am declaring LET. LET is a keyword used for variable declaration. We will discuss about this in language concept because already if you are aware of JavaScript, you know them. LET username is equal to, it is a string type, is equal to, we are using a prompt. In the prompt, we are displaying So enter username. Enter username. Actually, initially prompt can be null. That means username can be string or it can be null. It can be null. Like this we write. Later, I will tell you what is that pipe symbol and all. I am initially just writing some TypeScript code. I am writing some TypeScript code. Later, you are going to understand how this code is going to work. What is the difference? What is the difference? How TypeScript is written? We will learn about those points. So here, after defining this, how to present that username inside this container. How to access the container, you know, document dot get element by ID. So the ID is what? Container. In container, we have to put inner HTML and we need to put a message. We need to put a message here. Container dot inner HTML. And in that, we need to put a message. The message is nothing but hello. And that username, I have to put that username. Whatever username is there, we have to define this. Actually, you don't worry about all these issues and all. It is showing some errors and all those options. It is showing red markings and all. So that means, so here it is expecting null. Currently, don't worry about that. Why? Because later you will understand. So those concepts. As of now, you use your general JavaScript. You don't need to use this also actually. So you can directly use general JavaScript concept. I am just showing you basic point. Okay. Now this code is ready. This code is ready. This code contains some username as prompt and this option. Because you haven't learned any TypeScript yet, I am giving general JavaScript only. And it is giving me an error saying that don't do like this. This is TypeScript. Okay, we know that. Later we will implement it. Huh? As of now, don't worry. Just ignore this. Okay. Now next step is TypeScript understandable to page. TypeScript is not understandable to page. Page can understand only JavaScript. TypeScript is not understandable to page. Page can understand only JavaScript. So you cannot use this TypeScript. You cannot use this TypeScript. You cannot use this TypeScript in your HTML page. Then what we have to do is we have to transcompile this TypeScript into JavaScript. We have to translate the TypeScript into JavaScript and we have to use JavaScript. That means what we have to do, how to translate this into JavaScript. You can do in a more simple way also. If you feel difficulty in understanding all this, right, complex, then you can do more simple way. See, I am writing only one message, document.write, welcome to TypeScript. Understood? I am just writing that message, document.write, welcome to TypeScript. That's only one line I am writing. So later we will learn TypeScript basics if you feel difficulty in understanding. Because after start learning TypeScript, we will write TypeScript logic. As of now, put this one line. I cannot use this TypeScript in my page. I don't need all these now. Just only body section is enough because we are using document write function. We don't need all that. So just empty. Now I can't use this TypeScript file inside my page directly. Inside the page directly. Then what we have to do now? So we have to translate this TypeScript into JavaScript. How to do that? Open the location where your TypeScript is present in terminal. So right click on SRC folder and open in terminal. Open in terminal. It opens inside the terminal like this. And in the terminal, you can see it is opening some PowerShell. I already told you, you can change this PowerShell to, you can change that PowerShell to command prompt. Okay. Use that command prompt. So in our project, TypeScript project, we have a folder SRC. In that SRC folder, we are having index.ts. We need to translate this into JavaScript. Then what we have to do is So generally in that src folder, you have to run the command tsc. What is tsc? Remembered? In TypeScript architecture, I told you. What is tsc? It is TypeScript transcompiler. You have two compilers. Na? One is TypeScript core compiler, another one TypeScript transcompiler. TypeScript transcompiler is going to translate the TypeScript into JavaScript. So which file we have to mention? Index.ts. That means now the TypeScript program is going to translate into JavaScript. So that means we have to write TypeScript into JavaScript. Yes. So we have to write this command here, tsc index.ts. Then automatically it will compile the TypeScript program into JavaScript. It will compile the TypeScript program into JavaScript. And see, you can observe that, you can see that a JavaScript file is automatically generated. Index.js. JavaScript file is automatically generated, index.js. And relative JavaScript code will be stored. As of now, it will look same. Why? Because we are just using basic document.write only. So later you will see that entire TypeScript language code is translated into JavaScript native code. Once it is done, now this JavaScript file we have to attach to our page. So you know how to attach that. In the head section, script source. It is not present in this folder. .. It is present in which folder? src. In that index.js. That's how we link that folder. And once you linked that JavaScript file, then automatically in the output, it shows that welcome to TypeScript. If you want to do any modification, then always you have to go to the TypeScript file. And here I will put another line above document.write. I will put a heading. So index page, I will put a heading here, index page. And after that, every time you see the output is not updated. Because every time after making changes in TypeScript, you have to transcompile again. Every time we have to transcompile again. So what we have to do to transcompile? You can use this terminal for your convenience sake, visual sake. I will open command prompt. In the command prompt, so cd TypeScript project and cd src. In that we have to run that command tsc index.ts. That means it will transcompile it. It will transcompile that completed. If there are any errors, it will show the errors. If no errors, it will transcompile, and you see now it is updated. In the output, it will display whatever changes you are making. This is how generally TypeScript is used in a web page. That's how generally TypeScript is used in a web page. So to use TypeScript, you have to know about these points. These are the basic things. So how to add TypeScript into the page and how to transcompile. This will generate index. Now what you have to do? You have to link JavaScript file .js file to web page. TypeScript cannot work directly. So you have to write programs in TypeScript, translate into JavaScript, and give that JavaScript to your web pages. Then obviously I told you, people ask question like, then why to use TypeScript if it is translated? Why to use TypeScript? Because as a developer, we can utilize all the object-oriented features and build an application in a more convenient way. So JavaScript will take care about translating it into its own language, and it will provide. Because if you have to write in that way through JavaScript, it will be a difficult task. It will be a lengthy process. That simplifies by using TypeScript. This is one technique how we use TypeScript files in our HTML page. But while practicing, you don't need to do that. Generally, because every day writing a TypeScript file, linking to HTML page, testing in HTML page is not required for you because that you are going to do in Angular. So while practicing to save time, what we will do is different way. What we will do is, see, we will write TypeScript program. So let's write a TypeScript program. In SRC folder, add a new TypeScript program. So demo.ts. And in this TypeScript program, you write the logic. For example, and logic, we are not going to test in browser. If we are not going to test in browser, we are going to test in console. You know console. Console, every browser have a console, or you can test from command prompt. If you are not testing in a browser, you want to test in a console, use console methods like console.log. You know console log. And here we are displaying, welcome to TypeScript. This is the message I have created. And save this now. I just saved this. Now, this is not intended to run in HTML page. This is just we created for our practicing. Then how do you test it? What you have to do is go to your terminal. Here, compile it. TSC. What is it? Demo.ts. Demo.ts. That is transcompiled. After transcompiling, JavaScript file is created. You can run the JavaScript file directly. You can run the JavaScript file directly without using a HTML page. But you have to make sure that in that file, DOM manipulations are not there. DOM manipulations means alert, document.write, get element by IDs, prompt, messages, all are not there. Just console mode is there. If it is there, you can use a compiler, Node. Node compiler is used to run the JavaScript files. It is used to run the JavaScript files. Node compiler can run the JavaScript files. So node space, your JavaScript file name. What is the JavaScript file name? Demo.js. Remember, TS cannot run. So through node, TS need to be translated and JavaScript file you have to run. Once you run the JavaScript file, it will give the output here. This is how we practice TypeScript. Every day, linking in HTML page, testing in HTML, time waste. Why? Because we are here for learning Angular. And for Angular, you need a language. Our main concentration should be Angular. In Angular, you are going to see HTML pages, integration and everything. So don't waste time here. Here we have to just learn the language perfectly. Once we learn the language, we can start working with it. We can start using it in Angular. There you will see HTML integrations and all. So better you practice in this way every day instead of using a HTML page, linking the HTML page. But I showed you the process. Am I right? But I showed you the process, how to create a TypeScript file, how to convert into JavaScript, how to link that JavaScript into HTML and use it. But every day while learning the language, you can just create one TypeScript file, write your TypeScript code, compile it, JavaScript file will come, directly run the JavaScript file from command prompt or terminal by using Node compiler and you can test it. This approach we will follow every day to learn the language. So this is the basic flow, how TypeScript is used in application. Here, two things. After JavaScript file is created, you can run JavaScript file by using Node compiler. Node, so the file name demo.js. Before that, first you have to transcompile tsc demo.ts. After that, we have to run this and we need to configure this. That's how you need to define. This is how we are going to practice every day TypeScript. We are going to understand and work with TypeScript. I hope everyone understood this process, right? So we can start the language now. I hope everyone clear. That means we learned how to create a project, how to write programs in the project, how to compile the programs, and how to convert into JavaScript, and how to run JavaScript. These are the basic things you need to know, right? Once you are aware of this, now we can start working with the language. That means now we can start knowing TypeScript language. Let's go into TypeScript language basics. In the TypeScript language basics, you need to understand about variables, data types, operators, and statements. And very important, as I already told you, that these basics are very easy to handle. If you are already aware of JavaScript, no need to even discuss also. Just few important points we need to explain here, right? What is difference in JavaScript and TypeScript? I will show you here. Generally, concept of variables, data types, operators, everything same like JavaScript. So what is new in TypeScript? So everything same. About variables, no change. You know the concept of variables. What is the purpose of variables? Variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value. You can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. Variables are storage locations in memory where you can store a value and use it as a part of any expression. Actually, variables are configured in three ways. Variables are configured in three ways, configured in three phases. Variables are configured in three phases. First phase is declaration. Second phase, we have initialization. And third, we have assigning. Three options are there. Generally, variable configuration contains three steps: declaration, initializing, and assigning. These three are very important. Actually, generally, what is declaring, what is initializing, and assigning? These three things you need to be clear. I will show you that point here. Let's see. Three important options you need to understand. For example, I defined, so var x and x equal to 10 and var y is equal to 20, like this. Generally, when people are learning some technologies, most commonly people have some terms misunderstood. Sometimes they misunderstood and they follow the same across all technologies. So let's be more clear here. Actually, first one is called declaring. This is declaring. The first one is called declaring. After declaring, you are sending a value into it. And by mistake, many people call this as initializing. But it is not initializing, it is assigning, not initializing. Many times we have seen learning level people often call this as initializing value. No, it's not initializing value. It is assigning. Initializing means at the time of declaring a variable, if you send value into it, then it is called initializing. That means this last one is initializing. This is initializing. This is called initializing. This is called initialization. So declaring, assigning, initialization. After initialization, suppose I defined y is equal to 30. What it is? After initialization, I am giving y equal to 30. Then what I am doing? I am assigning. Understood? I am assigning. Initializing means I am assigning. Initializing means at the time of declaring itself, you have to send a value into it. At the time of declaring, if you send a value into it, then it is called initialize. Right? For variables, you need to learn three important things: declaring, assigning, and initializing. Three important. And interesting point is, in JavaScript, declaring variable is not mandatory. In JavaScript, declaring variable is not mandatory if it is not in strict mode. If JavaScript is not in strict mode, declaring variable is not mandatory. Without declaring, directly you can assign some value and you can use it. Declaring variable is not mandatory in JavaScript. I will show you. See, I will show you in JavaScript. I will write a code here. In JavaScript, I said x equal to 10 and document.write x is equal to the value of x. You can see that in JavaScript that is working fine. We haven't declared variable. This is not declaring. This is not declaring. This is what? Assigning. This is assigning. Assigning and using directly supported. But if JavaScript is in strict mode, that means use strict. Use strict. That means JavaScript is in strict mode. I am turning on the strict mode. If JavaScript is in strict mode, declaring variable is mandatory. Declaring variable is mandatory. You see, now it's not working. You go to the console, inspect and see the console. In the console, you can see X is not defined. That means declaring variable in JavaScript is not mandatory until or unless it is in strict mode. If JavaScript is in strict mode, declaring variable is mandatory, otherwise not required. Directly you can assign. But TypeScript is in strict mode. If TypeScript is in strict mode, declaring variable is mandatory. Understood? Declaring variable is mandatory. And how we can declare variable? Declaring variable is mandatory. And you can declare variable. Variables are declared. Variables are declared by using three important keywords: var, let, and const. Var, let, and const. Variables are declaring var, let, and const. Generally, if you know JavaScript, these are all already known concepts only. That is not new actually. And I hope you people remember, without JavaScript, you cannot be an Angular developer, right? JavaScript knowledge is mandatory. Here we are not teaching any JavaScript. We are just using it. That's it. We don't teach any JavaScript here. So, but I am showing you some basics in TypeScript so that it will help you to understand some basic differences. So, variables are declared by using var, let, and const. And the rules of these three are same like JavaScript. The rules of all the three are same like JavaScript, no difference. What are the rules? What is difference between var, let, and const? Let's see. If you already know JavaScript, you know the difference between them. Difference between var, let, and const. Difference is var is, var defines function scope variable. Var defines function scope variable. Function scope variable means, so you can declare and access from anywhere, from any block. You can declare in any block, and access from any block, in a function. That is function scope means. Var defines function scope. That means I will show you practically, I will show you that. But actually you might have already learned in JavaScript, right? Who is this? Srinivas. Already it is a JavaScript, very basic thing. I hope if you are you're done with JavaScript, you know this. Without JavaScript, you are not suitable for Angular-like technologies. And if you know JavaScript, why strict mode is required in JavaScript, already people know that, right? That's not a question for a experienced developer at all, right? Yeah. Anybody who knows JavaScript, they know what is strict mode, why to use strict mode. This is very silly thing. That is the first day JavaScript you learn actually. What is strict mode, why we need strict mode as a developer, all these basic things. We don't need to repeat them here as a very basic level JavaScript. So here the point is where defines function scope variable, and you can declare any block and access from any block. Another point, where allows declaring, it allows assigning, it allows initialization. All the three are allowed. Where allows declaring, assigning, initialization. All these three are allowed for where. And very important, where allows shadowing, and where allows hoisting. Where allows hoisting. What are these? I hope you have already learned in JavaScript. I will just give you an overview. Remember, I am not wasting JavaScript here. I am not wasting the time of JavaScript here, because I already told you strict knowledge of JavaScript is mandatory for your Angular. You can't come without this knowledge. I am just refreshing these points. I will not waste time in explaining all these things and waste time of our Angular. Okay. What is new in TypeScript, that we will detailedly discuss. What is already there in JavaScript, just fast overview I will give. That's it. Right. So hoisting, shadowing, and function scope, all these are JavaScript basics. What is shadowing? What is shadowing in JavaScript? What is shadowing in JavaScript? No, I will show you the point here. See, these are very general JavaScript basic things. See, in this now, I am writing a function. So F1, okay. In this function, we defined, so where x is equal to 10. Okay, I am defining, so like this, where x equal to 10. And if x equal to 10, then I am defining a block where y is equal to 20. And here I am printing console.log x is equal to whatever the value of x, and y is equal to whatever the value of y. So you are defining here. We are configuring that y value, x value here, specifying that. We are declaring by using this keyword. So we are configuring that by using that, and we are accessing the function F1. Now this first line, this is called, you know that is called as declaring. Am I right? We are declaring. And this is called as assigning. And the third one, this is called as initialization. We are declaring, assigning, and initializing. Okay. Now see, the y is declared inside a block. And y you are accessing outside that block. We are accessing that outside the block. Y is accessed outside the block. We are defining that. As of now, you see here, function scope means even you declare in a block, it is accessible outside the block anywhere. That is function scope. So that means you see now when I run this, so tsc demo.ts, and we have to run that node. What is it? Demo.js. X and Y both are working fine. Both are working fine. Now the point here is both are working fine. The concept is I am here configuring where y is equal to 30. Suppose I said y equal to 30. What I am doing? Y equal to 30 means again I am assigning a new value. But if I say where y is equal to 30, this is shadowing. Shadowing is redeclaring the same name variable in the scope again. This is required in several real world environments. You might have learned about this in JavaScript already. Why we need shadowing? What is the specialty of shadowing? Where we use shadowing in real-time requirements? That's all you will learn generally in JavaScript, right? No need to repeat those things again and again. Here, this is called shadowing. Shadowing is the process of redeclaring the same name variable. Is it possible? Shadowing, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. It is possible if it is declared with var. If it is declared with var, shadowing is possible. So that means you can redeclare it again. You can see that I will compile every time you need to compile after changing TSC, then run JavaScript node demo.js and you see it is working. Shadowing is supported. Var supports shadowing. Var supports hoisting also. Hoisting is nothing but, actually, hoisting technique is very simple. See here, I am writing here document.write. So first I will put here x is equal to 10 and document.write. So x is equal to plus x. Is it valid? Is it valid? Why you are thinking so much? Already, is it declared? Is it declared? It's not declared. Declaring variable is mandatory, na? Declaring variable is mandatory, so it is not valid. It is not valid. So what I am doing is, I am declaring here x. Declaring x. In many programming languages, this is not valid. But in JavaScript, it is valid with var. That means you can declare anywhere. You can declare anywhere. Generally, you have to declare before using it. We can declare anywhere. Compiler can pick up the declared location first. Then it will use the assigned location. That means hoisting is a mechanism where you can use the variable before the declaration. That is possible in JavaScript only with var. That means var allows that. You can see now in a majority of programming languages, it is not supported. You have to first declare or initialize, then use it. So it's not supported, but now it is supported. That is called hoisting. TSC demo.ts node demo.js. It's working. So you see here, I am using document.write. It says that you are not testing in HTML. Then what we will do? Console.log, because document write is only for HTML pages. So here that is the problem. It says, okay, now TSC demo.ts and node demo.js, and you can see it's working fine. X is 10, working fine. This is hoisting. Obviously, you might have learned all this in JavaScript. Just I refreshed these points because anybody who knows minimum JavaScript knows the difference between var, let, and const, which are same in TypeScript also. And what is let? Let defines block scope variable. Block scope variable. That means it is accessible only in the block where it is declared. It is block scope variable. Let allows declaring. Let allows declaring, it allows assigning, it allows initialization. All three are allowed, same like var. But let will not allow shadowing. Let will not allow shadowing and let will not allow hoisting. Shadowing and hoisting is allowed only for var. Let will not allow shadowing and let will not allow hoisting. That means, so you see let defines only the block scope variable here. You see now I am defining, suppose I am declaring var x, suppose x equal to 10, and that is initializing if x equal to 10, and I have a block. In that block var y, this is declaring y. y equal to 20, assigning value into y. And I am trying to access that y outside. So console.log x is equal to the value of x and y is equal to the value of y, but y is not allowed here. So with var it is allowed. So we are using another keyword. What is it? LET. If I use LET, now see what will happen. Now you see when we compile and run this, tsc demo.ts and it shows an error. Error is nothing but cannot find name y, because you are trying to use this outside the block. So it is accessible only inside this block. Is it accessible inside the block? That is why it is called as block scope. In which block you have declared, it is accessible only in that block. That means now it is accessible here, and you can see I will compile that and run it again, node demo.js, and you can see it's working fine. It's working fine. X equal to 10, y equal to 20, working fine. And important is it will not allow shadowing. See, LET y is equal to 30. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. You see, there is an error. It says that cannot redeclare block scope variable. It is a block scope variable, you cannot redeclare. Sometimes people ask the question like, if I use var, suppose this first one is declared with var, second one is not allowed. Not allowed. Why it is not allowed? Because it will not look for which keyword you have used. It will look for the name is there or not. That is called identifier. If the identifier is there with var or LET, anything you declared, it will say that I can't use that name again. LET means it will verify that that identifier is not taken already. If identifier is already taken through var or LET or anything, it will show message. So it is not possible. That means shadowing is not allowed. Will not allow shadowing, and it will not allow hoisting also. It will not allow hoisting also. Try that now here. We are using x equal to 10 console.log x equal to the value of x. And here I said LET x declared. That's not possible. You see now we declared LET and x, and you can run that and see it's not possible. It says that you see block scope variable x is used before its declaration. But it is possible with var. If I use it with var allows, it is possible. There is no problem. That means with var it is allowed. With var it is allowed. There is no problem in that. So that means I will use that and it is working. With LET it is not possible. So LET will not allow shadowing, and LET will not allow hoisting. That is the difference between this var LET. Another important constant, it also defines block scope only. Block scope variable. It also same like LET block scope variable, but very important is constant will allow only initialization. That's it. It will allow only initialization. Constant will not allow declaring. Constant will not allow assigning. Constant will not allow hoisting. It will not allow shadowing. That means it is more restricted. It will not allow shadowing. It will not allow declaring. It will not allow assigning. It will not allow shadowing. It will not allow hoisting. It will allow only one, that is initializing. So that is more restricted than other two. So initialization, that means you see now Suppose I configured like this. Suppose constant x and x equal to 10. And so console.log x is equal to the value of x. You see here, it's not allowed. You see, it shows a message. So const declaration must be initialized. It's mandatory. Initialization is mandatory. And the second one is not initializing. That is assigning. So initializing is mandatory. That means you have to initialize some value at the time of declaring only. At the time of declaring only. Okay, I initialized. After initializing, if I put x equal to 20, is it valid? Is it valid? It is not valid. Why? Because it allows only initialization. By seeing this, many people think that constant is read only. By seeing this, many people think that constant is read only. That means they generally say that constant means you cannot change. No, that's wrong. Constant is not about how to change. Then in interviews at experience level, they will ask, then what is read only means? If constant is cannot change, then what is read only means? Object oriented programming, you will have constants, you have read only. Then they will obviously ask you a question, what is difference between read only and constant then? Then you don't have an answer for that. So if you think that constant is read only, constant is not about how constant can change. Constant can change. Don't think that it is read only. For example, see here. For example, I will go to HTML page. In the HTML page, I am writing here a simple, so constant x equal to, so constant username is equal to prompt, enter name, document.write. I am printing here hello, that username, hello, and that username. Whatever the username is there, it is there. Now you see here, I am running this here, enter name. I entered John and it says hello John. Hello John. That means constant is assigned with a value called John. Now what I am doing is I am entering David. It is changed. It's changed. Huh? Then how you can say it is read only? It's not read only. That means you can change. You can change. So the point here is read only is different. This is about how you can initialize declaring. Constant is about declaring. That means constant says that when you allocate memory for me, there must be some value inside it because I want to use it immediately. That means constant is used for initializing values which need to be used by your programs. In that case, we define through constants. And constant indicates that later you cannot assign any value. So only at the time of using it, configuring it, you have to send some value into it. That is the reason people may think like it is read only, but it is not read only. Constant is not about how the value is changed. Constant is about how the value is taken. So that means, is it assigning? Is it declaring or is it initializing? Constant can take only one way. What is it? Initialization. It will not allow declaring. It will not allow assigning. Obviously, it will not allow hoisting and shadowing. That means if I initialize like this, const again, x equal to, x equal to, so 20, it's not allowed. It's not allowed. It says that already redeclared. You cannot have that. And it will not allow hoisting at all. Suppose x equal to 10, I defined. And I try to use here const x. It's not possible. Or I try to use const x equal to 10 after this. And I remove this. You see, I'm trying to use it. It's not possible. It's not possible. It says that block scope variable used before its declaration. It's not possible. But var allows. Const will not allow shadowing. const will not allow hoisting, const will not allow declaring, const will not allow assigning. It allows only initialization. That is the difference between these three things: var, let, and const. How the variables are declared in JavaScript, the same thing comes in TypeScript also. No change, same JavaScript. Now, additionally, what is the specialty of TypeScript is when you declare a variable, you can define data type. You can define data type. Currently, JavaScript variables are not strongly typed, but TypeScript variables are strongly typed. That means, what is the concept of data type? What is the concept of data type? The concept of data type is nothing but, generally, when you ask what is data type, majority of people will give one answer. Data type tells what type of data you can store. That is general answer you will expect from everybody, right? What is data type means people say that it tells what type of data you store. Actually, technically, data type defines data structure. Defines data structure, DS. It defines data structure. Data structure is nothing but not only just type, it also defines the size also. That means what type of value, what size of value can be stored in a variable. That is decided by data type, not only just type. That means for a general learner, it is only what type of value. But for a software architect, it is data structure, more than type. It's not just only type, more than type. For example, suppose in JavaScript, if anybody asked you a question like, in JavaScript, where x equal to 10, x is what type? X is an number type. If anybody asked like, so is there any limit for number? If anybody asked like, is there any limit for number? Can I store any number or is there any limit for number? What do you say? Can I store any number or there is any limit for number? You cannot store any number. There is limit for number. There is limit for number. That means you have a definite structure also. Structure. I will show you the limit of number. See? So document.write. So minimum is actually, so number dot min safe integer. And in the next line, max is equal to, so number dot max safe integer. So this is actually the minimum and maximum number. You see, this is the minimum and maximum. Don't think that any number, there is limit. That means data type is not just telling about what type of data you are storing, what size of data also. That is why it is data type. Data type is data structure. It defines the type as well as the structure, size. So that means when you declare a variable, JavaScript don't have data types defined. But in TypeScript, when you declare a variable name, we have to put a colon and we have to define data type. Data type. That means it will restrict that to handle only that type. In JavaScript, it's not like that. In JavaScript, it can change the type, but it is not strongly typed. It also strongly typed. The point here is, here it is strongly typed. If you say number, it can handle only number. If you say string, only it can handle string. So that means you can define data type for the data that you have configured. And what are the data types of TypeScript that we have to learn? That means we have to understand TypeScript data types, how to use TypeScript data types and restrict the data. That we will see in our next session. Tomorrow we will discuss about that, right? Today we discussed about how to write TypeScript programs, compile them and run them. And we learned about what are variables and variable related some basic things. Now in the next session, we will discuss about data types. Tomorrow we will discuss about data types, working with the data types. That is important for our TypeScript.